Alright. My audience for my presentation. Okay. Ready? Okay, my name is David Benner, and I'm doing a presentation for my communications class, COM110. And today I'm going to be doing a presentation on children and the effects TV has on them. Children watching TV and violence on TV, and does it really hurt anyone for them to watch it? Here's how all children start out. They start out as blank slates. They don't know anything, and every time they come in contact with something, they learn something new, and they go from there. This is a picture of a teenager beating up another teenager. How he got from this way is from different experiences in his life, through TV, through coming in contact with friends, and other aspects. If you teach your children right in the beginning and don't let them see certain things, they will have a better chance of not turning out like this. Different places where we see violence on TV, in our environment, our TV, movies, radio, school. These are all places children are exposed to violence. If we cut down on these things, we will not. They will not act out as they are in their environment.
Very good.
This is another teenager, a bunch of teenagers turning over a car. Another act of violence in teenagers. This is a child waiting at the bus stop with a gun in his hand. It may look like a cartoon, they drew it as a cartoon, but we know it happens every day in every school. We try to say, oh, that's not my child, that's not my child. But the reality is it's someone's child. So we all have to take responsibility and talk to our children. Just talk to them as people instead of our child that can't do any harm, because we all know they don't always do right. Violence and television exposure. Children who watch violence on TV are more likely to do violent activities than children who do not see the violent activities, because if you can't act out something that you haven't seen before. So we need to start by cutting down on their TV time or watching what they do watch on TV to make sure it's appropriate. The effects of violence. Children become less sensitive to violence the more they see it. The first time someone sees a violent act, they children become less and less desensitized to violence the more and more they see it. The first time they see a fight, they're like, man, I just saw a fight today, and they go home and they tell somebody, and they tell somebody else. The second time, third time, they're like, fight happened today, no big deal. If we try to let them not see as much of that, they won't be prone to be numb to it when they do see it. Overexposure. The more violence we expose our children to, the more likely they will to think that it is not just a part of reality. The reality is it is every day that we do see violence, but the less we can, if we can cut down on that through TV, turn off your TV, or limit your kids' TV, watch your kids' TV, know what they're watching. Don't let them watch cartoons with guns shooting in them, because they don't understand that guns do kill. And then they'll go out and shoot their friends and say, I didn't know better. So you can watch their TV with them and know what they're watching. Overexposure. Pretend and real. Children at age 2 to 10, they don't know the difference between pretend and real. They see someone getting shot on TV and the guy falls down on the ground, and 5 minutes later gets up and goes and shoots somebody else. They don't understand that that's not the way it works. People actually die, and they have loved ones that miss them and everything else. But children don't think that far. They just think the guy got up, so he's okay, so I can do the same thing. Heightened fear. Okay. When children see this exposure or even see it firsthand, they have a heightened fear of violence. They go to school and they're like, what's going to happen to me today? And that may cause them not to want to go to school. Or if they're bullied in school, same thing, they're not going to want to go. So talk to your children, let them know what happens, things that do happen, and how to react to them if they do happen. Increased aggression. Children who watch violence on TV are more likely to act out than children that don't watch violence on TV. We see hitting, kicking, spitting, you name it, in the classrooms. And this can be cut down by talking to your children, letting them know that's not okay, and then watching what they watch, because they will act out what they see on TV, just to see how the reaction of the other child is. Okay. What if you had never seen a person getting killed, a person in a fight, violence? How would your child act? Would they still act out those aggressions? Probably not. They would act the way they would if they didn't know. It's you only act out things you know. You can't act out if you didn't see it. So try to avoid letting them see the violence. Watch your children's TV. Basically, if your child is watching a TV show, you should know what they're watching as they watch it. If you haven't, watch the TV show before them, and then you'll know what they're watching. If it's okay, let them watch it. If not, tell them I'm not okay with you watching that right now. Discuss what they see. If they do see a violent activity on TV, don't be afraid to talk to them about what happened and what could happen with the families and everything else along with that, so that they will be aware of what happens when violence happens, so they won't be prone to go through it themselves. Real and pretend, again, that's hard for children to know the difference between real and pretend, because they're still at that stage where everything's pretend. So they play with guns every day. Parents buy them guns, parents buy them whatever, and they let them act it out. And then when they can find a real gun in the house, there's an accident and someone's dead. So be careful of what's in your house and talk to your children. Reduce your TV time. A lot of children, the babysitter is the TV. So cut down your children's TV time. Monitor what's on their TV. Be aware of the language on there, the violence on there, the guns, the knives. Keep it off the TV, and limit TV time. If you say, hey, my child's up at 4 in the morning, I can't control it, there's child locks that will prevent that from happening. Pre-screening. This is what I was talking about. Pre-screening your children's movies, DVDs. Make sure there's no violence, no curse words that they won't repeat at school, and won't carry it on through life. Because once they've heard it, they're not going to stop saying it. Communicate with your children. A lot of parents, they just want to set it up on the TV, and that's the babysitter for the night. People need to put the TV down and talk to their children about what's going on, what they heard at school, what's going on in their child's life, and if they did have something, an encounter with a fight or a gun or this or that, the parents should be able to communicate with their children, and the child should be able to open up to their parents. A lot of times, parents are more of a friend than they are a parent, so they don't talk about that kind of stuff. Setting limits. Set limits on what your children watch and what hours they watch. Nothing good comes on after 10 o'clock, so why are children watching the TV? Also, there's TV shows that come on before 10 o'clock that are not appropriate, and you just need to watch what they're watching. Channel lock, and just turn off the TV. Give them something to do. This is violence is everywhere. Do you know what's in your home? Basically, your home is supposed to be the safest place for you, and a lot of children go home and they're watching this violence and they're carrying it out, taking it outside the house and acting it out. So cut down on the TV. And then that's about it. Thank you guys for watching.
Very good, David. That was good. That information was very,
Oh, so
very
nervous.
good to see